What's up, good people? Today is, I believe today is the 17th, but it's Wednesday, and like I said, I believe it's the 17th of February, the day after President's Day is what day this is, 2026, and I just have to come on here and talk to you guys. Just reason being is that I'm being shown more and more that the United States is going to be in for a head-turning event, so to speak. And that event has nothing to do with war right now. It has nothing to do with another country. It's what's going on with this Jeffrey Epstein file and situation. Because here's the thing, is that Epstein has been on the radar for the things that he was proven guilty of and of the things that he was being accused of for years. He's been on the radar. But yet, a lot of us had not ever heard of him, had no knowledge of him whatsoever. He also had gone to court and had been charged with things that were pertaining to trafficking of men and women and alleged sexual encounters with underage men or boys and girls, and he was proven guilty of those charges. And that's something that even up until he had passed away, he was willing to admit. And I say all of that because, like I said, for this guy to have known and been in the circles that he was a part of, you would have thought that many of us would have been made aware of who he was, but we weren't. But once again, he had a strong presence when it came down to the political world, even the entertainment side of things. He was rubbing shoulders with all of the billionaires, whether they were from the United States and or from another country. And so I say that mouthful because he is literally that. I'm going to use this analogy, but he's like that diamond in the rough, so to speak. Even though when we use that analogy, that's normally referring to a good thing, in which this is somewhat of a bad and good scenario that we're encountering when it comes down to the people that were involved with Epstein. And not only that, the current president being highly involved in everything that has to do with Epstein. And when I say everything, I mean from him knowing him personally, from him being arrested and jailed under, if I'm not mistaken, under Donald Trump's first term. We know for a fact that the guy lost his life while Donald Trump was in office the first time, in which no one was putting one-to-one together for the most part back then. Why? Not sure. And then when you start looking at the circumstances surrounding this Epstein guy's death, to where he is in a jail. He wasn't in prison, but he was in a jail, which I'm pretty sure has some of the best security in New York, because that's where a lot of these so-called celebrities and these billionaires or whatever have you, they get sent there when they commit a crime in New York. That's normally where they go. Or even high-profile cases, period, goes there, if I'm not mistaken. But The security guards went to sleep, or guard, however many it was, happened to just have gone to sleep at this point in time. The security cameras stopped working at that point in time. And then when you hear about the autopsy that was done by a person that's probably done hundreds, if not thousands of autopsies in his lifetime, to where he's helped homicide detectives solve crimes, as well as brought peace to the families of the victims, but yet no one listened to his findings that he performed or found after Epstein had passed away. In which, in his findings, he found that Epstein had been strangled. The wounds and everything that was involved that caused his death showed that someone had strangled him, in opposed to him being hanging from somewhere, or he hung himself. The damage done to that guy's body said something completely different than what the masses have been told, which is that this Epstein guy was found hanging in his cell at a time where the security cameras stopped working, and also at a time where the security guard went to sleep, so he saw nothing. It really does not make any sense when you're looking at it from a real life perspective. If you're looking at it from a crime show mystery, and not even a real crime show like 48 Hours, I mean these scripted shows that these people come up with, then yeah, you would think that this is just some mystery that cannot be solved. But in reality, it's simple. A lot of times, a lot of these situations and scenarios, they have simple explanations, but because we tend to sometimes be super critical thinkers or overthink things, we miss the facts, in which the facts was right before our eyes. It's an inside job. The camera stopped working. That was not something that was done by a prisoner. Point blank, period. We know that for a fact. The jailer falling asleep, he needs to be questioned a lot more, because there's so much more that jailer knows that he's not telling, or that has not been told. He knows that it was a setup. He was told what was going to happen at a given time, and what he and his excuse should be at that point in time. He knows what happened. But I say all of that to get to the point that Donald J. Trump was the initiator. He was like that guy that was closest to that situation, that had to do something, because if he didn't do anything, then the risk of him being exposed for who he truly is and how he truly was to not come out. And he had to keep that hidden, because it wasn't just about him, in which he even admitted that it's not just about him. Even though he didn't say it in that way. He said that he did not want to release those files, or he was hesitant to release those files, because there were a lot of good people and innocent people that would be hurt because of these files being released. Why would he say something like that, y'all? He knows everyone that's in there. These people were lined up with him as if they're the elite rulers of all the world when he was running for president. Even probably after he got inaugurated in, they were still hanging around. You had most definitely the so-called richest guy in the world hanging around with him because he was part of the staff for 3 or 4 months. And he's all in the files. So that's what Donald J. Trump meant. He did not want this to come out because he knows that this is something, if the federal government and the local governments, the government as a whole, steps up and do what they're supposed to do, that they could literally bring down all of the elites in this world. Majority of them. The ones that are truly not good for society anyways, will be brought down. And I say that because you're going to still have your higher ups, like your King of England and certain places. You're going to still have these people. But the corrupt grounds that this particular group of people in the government have built their wealth on and have become who they have become off of, those grounds are going to be dug completely up to where those bones are going to be exposed, and it's going to be told all of the evil things that Donald J. Trump has been involved in and as well as have known about. Because, yeah, he's not going to know about everything. He wasn't there every day with the guy. He wasn't there when he had all the parties. But we know for a fact that Donald J. Trump has spent at least 10 different occasions with this guy, if not more. You can go off the flight logs alone and say it's more. But the flight logs don't tell everything. And it may not ever be completely told by these people that have committed these heinous acts. It probably won't ever come out because we know for a fact that abortion is involved. And see, that's the thing. We got to be careful because sometimes the things that these people portray as if they care so much about be the things that they care so much about because they were so heavily involved in something at one point in time that now they feel sorry. And which I'm not saying that that's a bad attribute to have, to feel sorry for something you have done. But at the same time, if you have done things that involve the loss of life, the taking advantage of underage boys and girls, taking advantage of men and women, period, because we have to understand, like I said 1,000 times, that Bill Cosby was a part of the same culture and the same group of people that Donald J. Trump was a part of. So if Bill Cosby can literally go down for the things that he went down for, there are a lot of those same things that Donald J. Trump is guilty of because they were a part of the same circle. They did the same exact things. And it's not just Donald J. Trump. Because like you said, now you look at it like this. And there's been years of this garbage. And it was before the Playboy Mansion and stuff was ever even thought of. But in my day and time, the Playboy Mansion was where all of the rich people went. They went, they did drugs there, they hung out, and they slept with women. Now, the ages of these women, I can't speak of. But we do know that, for the most part, if I'm not mistaken, you had to be 18 back then to be a model for Playboy. And once again, if you got 18-year-olds hanging around, there's a possibility that there could be some 17, 16-year-olds and 15-year-olds hanging around too. I'm just saying. Strong possibility, even though nothing never came out, but just that lifestyle as a whole, even if it was 18 and up. But you got all of these rich celebrities and these rich people going over here sleeping with these 18-year-olds to get their rocks off because they have a fantasy that they want to live out. And so it just became worse as time went on. And so you had Epstein coming to the picture. And he was the raunchiest of them all for the most part. But he also has enough to once again bring down majority of the elites in this world, y'all, to where I said it before and I'm saying it now because I said that God showed me that there was going to be a switching of the wealth in this country. There's going to be a changing of the wealth in this country, meaning that the ones that truly deserve to live a decent to better life will have just that. The ones that have billions of dollars and they go out and will spend $1 million on a weekend but refuse to truly help the community. They claim that they give the foundations and all this other stuff, but what about the country and the communities that are truly putting you in the position that you're in, that's paying for everything that you have gotten wealthy for? And so it's going to be a changing of the wealth. And it's going to start with some way, somehow. They're going to get to the point where they're going to bring down Donald J. Trump and the rest of them based off of what the truth is behind their association with Epstein. And that's what's going to happen. Epstein is going to be the destruction of the 1%. And things are going to change because imagine you got one guy that's worth over 200 billion or a trillionaire. I don't know how rich these people are, but when you start taking that money and being able to put that money back into society, it makes a huge difference, believe it or not. Because let's put it in this perspective, and I'm about to get off of here. Let's say there's, I don't remember exactly, but let's just say there's 400 billion people in the United States. 400 billion. Let's say you get the top 4 wealthiest people in all of the world and put their wealth together. That wealth amounts to more than 400 billion. So I say that because literally everyone in the United States could have $1 billion account based off of 3 or 4 people, based off the amount of wealth that 3 or 4 people have, that an entire country of people, including children, would be able to have at least $1 billion in an account for them if you took that wealth away from them. So that's what I say. It may not seem like it's that much, but that's how that change is going to affect this country, to where we're going to start seeing people being able to do and have things that they weren't able to do and have because you had 3 or 4 people with a stranglehold on the wealth for an entire country. But y'all take it easy out there. I just had to let that be known that there's a change on the horizon, and so we just have to be prepared for it and don't be surprised when it comes because you've been told that it's on the way. But y'all have a good one out there, and I'll talk to you soon.